I'm Jessica Brisebois, and today we are spending 5 minutes with Windsor Ward 8 City Councilor Bill Marra. Bill, I know you've been an active volunteer in our community since 1986. Could you tell us what you do at Hotel Dieu Grace Hospital?
Yeah, about 13 months ago, Jessica, in September of 2011, I was hired by Hotel Dieu Grace Hospital to run the foundation. And in simple terms, the foundation really is the fundraising arm of the hospital. Our primary goal is to raise money for medical equipment, really any initiatives that makes the patient experience better. And sometimes you get involved in major campaigns like we are right now for the expansion that's going to take place in the very near future.
And how has the talk of the mega hospital affected community support towards the Hotel Dieu Grace Hospital expansion?
Well, that's a great question. And some of our donors actually picked up the phone as soon as it was announced. They wanted to know as well, what are we raising money for if there's going to be a single site hospital? And this conversation is critical because when we talk about the new initiative, possibly of a new single site hospital, it doesn't mean that in the next 10 years or 12 years, we have to stop all projects. Our expansion primarily is around cardiac care. So we can have 24-hour a day, 7-day a week cardiac intervention for angioplasty or even angiograms. Those programs save lives. And we have to make sure that those services are available. Any discussion around a single site hospital, you're probably looking at about a 10-year window. So in the meanwhile, we need to continue to deliver the services that we have to deliver, especially when it comes to cardiac care, Jessica. Under certain circumstances, people either have to go to a Henry Ford Hospital in Michigan when it's an emergency or up to London. Our goal when the expansion is done and the program is fully operational is everyone who needs that intervention can get it done here in Windsor in their own home community. It'll save lives, it'll mitigate the risk of traveling while you're very sick, and also it helps the family so they don't have to travel out of town to be with their loved one.
Right, so you would say it is important then to continue the expansion of the Hotel Dieu Grace Hospital?
It's absolutely important because when you look at even the two locations, Med Hospital and Hotel Dieu Grace, the two locations, something's going to happen with them as well, even though there's going to be a single site hospital. So, it's business as usual, and we're going to continue to provide the services we need to provide.
And what is your opinion on the mega hospital?
I think the single site hospital, and I use single site because that's what the panel calls it, is critically important. We're going to be able to build a single site regional trauma center hospital, a facility that'll be with state-of-the-art rooms. New hospitals these days, 80% of the rooms are private beds. If you go through a hospital right now, it's not that way. We're also going to be able to build state-of-the-art facilities where medical students can work, whether it be a medical student from the University of Windsor Medical School or medical students from the Health Sciences program at St. Clair College. So it's really critically important. And then we can add certain aspects that we don't have right now. For example, Hotel Dieu Grace Hospital is a regional trauma center. Okay. Ideally, we should have a helipad there. We should have a helicopter to transport people under critical conditions. We don't have that available. A new site will be about 50 to 60 acres, and it's going to accommodate all of the things that we need in a modern facility to provide proper healthcare services. Okay,
so what measures are being considered in the planning of these stages for the single unit hospital to avoid the repeat of Old Grace Hospital?
Well, again, a good question. There's a couple things that are happening. For the first time in the province of Ontario, there's actually a consultation happening. So as you probably know, and your viewers know, Dave Cook, former cabinet minister in the NDP government, Tom Porter, former member of City Council, and Teresa Peruza, the current member of the Liberal Party at the provincial level, our MPP for Windsor West. They created this consultation process. They're talking to everybody in the community. In fact, they're having open houses in October in the county and in the city. They want feedback. They want to make sure that if there have been mistakes in the past, they're not repeated. They want to find out if there's support for this. And even when they came to City Council recently, we said the same thing. We don't want the problems that occurred at Grace Hospital. We want to make sure that if you demolish any buildings, there's a plan to reuse the property. Okay. If you're not going to demolish buildings, how are you going to repurpose them? We think, for example, if you shut down the hospital at Hotel Dieu Grace, you should still have an urgent care clinic because there's a lot of people who live in and around the downtown that are going to need urgent care services, but maybe not a hospital. So we're part of the process. They're going to consult us, and we're going to make sure that this is done properly with good planning principles, and any repurposing of the buildings or reuse of the land takes into consideration what the priorities of our community are.
Okay, fantastic. And just a side note, how do you feel about Dwight Duncan stepping down?
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise because Dwight's been a significant leader of this government, Minister of Finance. He ran the Energy Ministry for a while, and a lot of folks thought he would throw his hat in, but Dwight obviously announced and surprised a lot of people that he's not going to pursue leadership. And having said that, he's also said that if Sandra Pupatello, our former MPP, runs for leadership, he's going to support her. So, good for Dwight, and if Sandra decides to run, I think she's going to get a lot of support from this community.
Oh, great. And to wrap things up, you are a busy man. How do you keep motivated?
You know what? We live in a great city, and when you're part of things that you love to do and when you're passionate about what you do, it's easy to get motivated. There are days that are tougher than others, but you got to work through it and always stay focused on what's the big picture and where's the objectives of our overall goals. So you kind of stay focused on goals and objectives and don't let that negative stuff distract you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I'm Jessica Brisebois, and we just spent 5 minutes with City Councilor Bill Marra.